anymore.
If the FBI doesn't use it anymore, then I don't trust it.
They don't. And call me on that, you guys. Maybe I'll put in a clip here of an FBI interrogator. They do not do this.
So as an FBI agent, one of the things that I would do to make people comfortable was I always made sure that they would sit next to the door. You know, on television, you always see the suspect sitting in the corner of the room. That is third grade interviewing. Graduate level interviewing is you sit them near the door. Why? There's greater psychological comfort there. My name's Joe Navarro, and for 25 years, I was a spy catcher with the FBI, and I am a nonverbal communications expert.
They build trust and put the suspect in a position of power, and they usually have an expert psychologist or therapist in there with them. If they're not in the room with them, they're behind the two-way glass.
Oh, you mean someone who specializes in criminology?
No, somebody who specializes in psychology.
Yeah, a lot of criminologists also are psychologists.
Yeah.
Which would make sense for them to like work with the FBI on criminals.
I think they get expert therapists and psychologists that they don't need to be expert criminologists.
Yeah, they probably don't have to.
In fact, it probably looks better in court if they're not criminologists. They don't have a buy-in for this guy to give evidence or anything. They are there strictly for the mind and conversation. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
So, I'm curious what you guys think. I feel like we covered pretty much everything. A good example of why so many people have an issue with the Reid technique. Why the FBI, the CIA, the other three-letter organizations aren't using these anymore. They are outdated and they are old and they don't work. They're deceptive and they're manipulative, and nobody's in a position of power in this situation.
Yeah, if you want to coerce a confession, a false confession, then go ahead, use the Reid technique.
Yeah. I'm curious. Do you think that Dylan Mortenson's and Bethany Funk's now statement could be the outcome of a situation like this?
I think there's a possibility, but
I think there's a possibility
idea.
too, because
I have zero idea.
Why did Bethany Funk's come out? I mean, why did Dylan's come out and not Bethany's? Yeah. Until literally just a couple months ago.
And then you hear the defense saying it's exculpatory, which is a bit odd. The one that doesn't come out is exculpatory in some way.
Yep.
That's odd.
Yep. And understand, you guys, that both sides can use these techniques. I'm speaking against them, whether it's defense using them or prosecution using them. They don't work. They are scary and they are abusive and they don't work. Nobody can tell when somebody's lying. Nobody. Ever. You can tell when someone's in stress, and that can be an indicator of lying, but that is not an indicator. Like, that's not a definitive answer of lying.
Yeah, so you can tell like little red flags.
Stress signals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching one interview before we close this out, and what was he? I think it was like DEA or something like that. And he was talking about how he interrogates, and he was like, I was interrogating this woman one time, and she was giving me all the signals that there was something more there, and I didn't want to press her harder and make her uncomfortable. So I just decided to flat out ask her, like, what's going on with you? I can tell something's wrong. I can tell you're stressed out. What's going on here? And she responded and said, well, you said that this conversation was going to be short, and I only put $2 in the parking meter, and I've been watching my watch, and it's about to be up in 30 seconds. Yeah, those were the stressors he was seeing.
Her worrying about parking.
Her worrying about getting a ticket because she's parked at the police station and thought she was only going to be in there for a couple minutes, which is, a common interrogation tactic to start a conversation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it ended up lasting way longer. And now she's worried about getting a ticket.
Yeah, there's too many variables.
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many.
For sure.
So let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this. I can go further into this and I can actually connect sales techniques that I use every day with some of the history I've had in the interrogations I've been in and some of these techniques. So
as you were saying that, I took a drink and it just went.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
Where?
just great.
On you or on?
On my sleeve.
Mm.
It just was like.
Boop. Save it for later. All right. Appreciate it.
Where's Waldo?
Yes. There it is. It popped up. Okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Annie, I just hope everything is okay. I've been there, so
I have too. I've
yeah.
had kidney problems before. They're no fun. I hope it goes okay.
Just don't let it stress you out. Stress is never a good thing in any situation.
Doesn't promote healing. Healing.
Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody.
But if you gotta head out early, that's okay, Anne, of course. We want you to take care of yourself. Oh, no outfits, the horror of it. Yeah, I know. I wore the earrings though. I got the earrings on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, that was recorded last week. Those are our part of our pre-recorded podcast. They're clips. We should show up in our costumes to stream one night, though.
Yeah. That
would be fun.
I mean, now we have quite a few costumes because when we were still doing politics, we were already wearing costumes like every once in a while. So we got a few. We should be able to make it every week of October.
Yep.
That's the goal.
But hey, Casey. Hey, Michael.
Hey, hello, everybody.
Riddler, Tony.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't been throwing members up on here. Hello, everybody.
Anne, of course.
Apologies.
Anne, did you even put up Anne?
Sorry.
You.
Oh, was I messing with my hair?
Rumsey.
Yes. Hello, Rumsey.
And Joanne.
Yeah, and Joanne. Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome. So, I guess before we dig into it and dig into the read technique, some of the major questions that came up when I was researching that, and now some of the questions that I have, especially since so much information has come out over the last few days, it's made even more questions pop up. Just want to let everybody know and do the intro. We appreciate all of you for being here and welcome to the True Crime Talk Show by ThoughtRiotPodcast. And if you're on Spotify, you're seeing the video. If you're on Apple, Google, Amazon, any of the other 100 podcast platforms that we're on, we appreciate all of you. I know some of you are listening a few days behind, but we want your feedback all the same as everyone in the live chat right now. So please let us know how you feel about the show. If you have any suggestions, if there's something you feel like could be done better, leave them in the comments, leave us a rating. That helps our show get
out there to more people, you know, and eventually we'll be able to do this more full time. And we have a whole bunch of ideas with that. So we appreciate all of you and welcome to the show.
I am Malia.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part. Wait, what's my name?
I don't know. Waldo, I think.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, wait.
All the audio listeners couldn't see. So we just did a premiere for all the audio listeners. And if you're an audio listener, man, this video, in my opinion, was really good because I learned so much doing the research and trying to verify and prove that Idaho is using this technique and that they don't differentiate between an interrogation and a conversation. So I learned a ton. And in that video, we were wearing costumes. So if you're an audio listener, you got to come over to YouTube and watch that video. That video is so good. You're missing out if you don't. So, yeah.
And you have a light bulb because you're a month 2 member.
Yes.
And it'll change next month too. But thank you so much for being on your second month with us. That's amazing.
Yes. We appreciate you and appreciate that. And here, I'm going to promote a little bit while we're on here so I don't have to touch on it again. So tomorrow we are doing the where is it? The GPS data. This one's important, you guys. This one's really, really, really important because this is the part 2 and the follow-up to the cell phone triangulation. We had a lot of people who have this idea and belief that GPS is gathered from the carrier. It is not. It is not gathered from the carrier. There are certain things that I guess could fall under it's not GPS, it's coordinates. Okay. And cell phone towers can give a rough estimate of coordinates, but it cannot give you the GPS location. And we're going to be breaking this down tomorrow and going over this and how it could have added to or taken from the Idaho 4 case. And it's an incredible topic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was needed to cover it because so many people commented about your cell tower thing and talking about the satellites. And the satellites actually on the underground have been a big topic.
It's just because people don't understand that the satellite data does not come from wireless. It is completely separate altogether. You cannot call your cell phone company and be like, hey, I need to get my GPS data on this phone. It does not work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's either a manufacturer or more than likely it is app data. I think what a lot of people get it confused with is geolocation. Now, geolocation is a blended blended report that gives coordinates of trilateration and triangulation. I wasn't sure if I was going to remember trilateration and triangulation. And that comes up with coordinates that your cell phone company can issue you, but they cannot issue you GPS data. GPS comes from a chip that is in your phone from your manufacturer. I don't know what my camera's doing. It is like washing us out. I don't know. But be there tomorrow. Tomorrow it's at the same time, 8:15 Central Standard, Chicago time, baby. And yeah, it'll be a good time. So we can get right into this. Hello, everybody. Yes. Welcome. So for the read technique, okay, some of the questions, I guess we'll start off with a question. When I was doing research into the read technique does not differentiate between the interrogation or a conversation. And both start exactly the same. Both start at step one. The only difference is if the conversation makes the officer believe that they could be a likely suspect, it then transitions at step three into an interrogation. But both a conversation and an interrogation are approached from the police officer not believing that the person in front of them is being honest. They are approaching the situation from a case of dishonesty every time, no matter what. Wild, right? Isn't that strange?
It is strange because I feel like if you're already coming into it with that bias, you're going to subconsciously and also intentionally try to force an outcome that may not be the correct one. Like you're always trying to you're assuming the person in front of you is guilty, trying to force the confession.
Mm-hmm.
And some people cave to that more easily than others.
Agreed.
And some people don't know their rights. And some people, when faced with confrontation, can't face it back head on.
Dude.
So some people may end up giving in to you to get it to stop because it's too much.
Yes, and prime example is Dr. Moore, you guys.
Yes.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I think anybody that's a salesperson or in a sales industry has come across people that, you're right, get a lawyer. So I want everybody that's listening to this, whether you're rewatching, whether you're an audio listener, whether you're live, no matter what you are, innocent people get lawyers, not the other way around. Anybody who says guilty people get lawyers, no, that is BS. They are full of it. Innocent people get lawyers. Innocent people get lawyers every time. And but there are people out there, and there is no way to know. When I walk up to somebody in my job and I introduce myself, hey, I'm Brendan. I was hoping we could just have a couple-minute conversation. You know, I know you're a busy person. I understand that you have a business to run, but I'm here to help your business. If you just give me, 2 minutes. 2 minutes is all I need. There are people out there that cannot help but cave to that. And then you get into a real funky situation later because they are people that can't say no. They don't know how to, because it causes so much internal stress in them that they don't have the ability to say, stop, I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to continue this conversation anymore. There's a lot more people out there than I think most people realize that can't say that.
Agree with you. And Rumsey, she made this comment in response to Ian. Most of the time when it's an interrogation, the detective has evidence to support this line of questioning. And Ian's comment was, I've noticed that just in general day-to-day life, when people have the attitude that you're lying, they're going to see everything in the worst light possible, cop or not.
I agree with you 100%. And
Joanne said she'll do anything to avoid confrontation.
Yeah.
Well, not anything, but you know,
right,
what I mean?
For sure. Absolutely. And what I will say, Rumsey, is you're right. That's step one in the Reid interrogation. However, it is worded very carefully and says, gather as much evidence as is possible. So if you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of evidence, what they're going to start doing is just pulling people in, and they are trained from day one. The second that you walk in that, let me try and find a Reid technique image, a picture to show you, and I can point out what the Reid technique is and how it is already a subconscious game of guilt before they even enter the room. And it's important to understand that these people, this is the same for the conversation too. All right, hang on one second here. Let me pull it up.
Casey, I saw your you asking about where are the tomatoes. I made a tomato that's like splat, you know what I mean? Like being thrown. I just posted it in the chat. Hopefully you can see it. If you cannot see it or cannot use the emoji to those all of you members, you may have to just hit the refresh button. And then make sure you put it back in live chat, not top chat.
Okay, so here we go. And what's funny is I was able to find this so fast, you guys, so fast. So what you're seeing here, this looks like an everyday normal interview, okay? And just remember that interviews are conducted the same as interrogations. Interviews are the same as interrogations, and it's done in the same way, in the same rooms, in the same setup, in the same disadvantage for the person the police officer is talking to. So you're set up for failure right away. And so this guy here, okay, the read technique helps teach officers that you need to take power away from the person that you're talking to. It's not a suspect, it's talking to anybody. All right. So what is most likely happening, I can't see the door, of course, but just based on everything else I'm seeing, I'm telling you the door is right here. The door is between this person and this officer. That is what they are trained to do. They are trained to put the person in the corner furthest from the door, and they set up their interrogations, conversation rooms around this. Then when the officer comes in, he sits in between that person and the door, which is giving him a stature of power. Now, on top of that, they also put the officer in a chair that is taller than the person they are talking to. He's clearly taller. I bet this man is taller if they were to both stand up. I bet this man is taller than the officer, but there's intentionally a chair which is taller than the person they're talking to. Now, on top of that, this person's chair is a non-rolling chair. It is intentionally stuck to the ground or a flat post chair so that they feel stuck. They cannot move. They can't do anything with their chair. And the officer is intentionally given a rolling chair, and they are suggested to roll around in a freeing motion, separating themselves from the person they're talking to. They are already coming in a position of power in a subconscious way before the conversation even starts, And they conduct this in the same way, whether they are having a conversation or it is a full-blown interrogation. So the one thing I wanted to be able to prove on that video was, is Idaho using the read technique? They are. 100% they are. And that image that I pulled up, which I'll go back to, I'll pull it up on here so we can look at it again. But they had their, what was it? Their heightened course, like their level 2 advanced training course for all of the law enforcement in the area that is for state police. I forget if it included sheriff's department or not, but it also included local police, and it was within 1 hour's driving distance of Moscow, no tomatoes. All right.
Throw all the tomatoes.
Right. But it's interesting. It's interesting because it makes me wonder. And I've thought from the very beginning, okay, why are we seeing Dylan's statement evolve? Why are we seeing Bethany's statement evolve? Why did it start as Fry coming out and saying, no, I didn't say that we had eyewitnesses. I said that we had survivors, or whatever he said.
Yeah. He said, I don't think I ever said they were witnesses. I said they were there.
Yeah. That's it.
Like they were present at the home, not that they saw it, essentially.
My ADHD brain. But yes, so that is what why has it turned from that to now 2 eyewitnesses? We had one, and now 2 eyewitnesses. How many times have they been called in to have a conversation using the read technique, putting them in a position of disadvantage in a corner, being told by the cops that you don't need a lawyer. We're just having a conversation. I'm on your side here. I know you're a victim. You don't need a lawyer. I just want to understand.
Yeah, and this is once they've taken the next step to pulling you into the police station. You know, there's the in the field interviews where you're just reporting information and, you know, they don't have any evidence to even bring you down to the police station. You're just like a random witness, you know what I mean? But I feel like in this situation specifically with Bethany and Dylan, them being there, not calling
There we
911
go.
for 8 hours, you know,
Better
all of the
example.
circumstances surrounding the case, that I feel like they almost definitely would have been pulled into the police station to have a talk. And if they're pulling you in, then they have enough suspicion and or evidence to question you.
Wow, I didn't know that the read was copied from World War II, you know.
What, you talked about the guy who developed it?
Yeah, but he was an American man. He was a Chicago police officer. But that doesn't mean
he copied it from somewhere else.
That doesn't mean it wasn't gathered from something else. The same baseline of techniques, right? Because look, in any industry, you guys, is any industry anymore creating something new? No. There is no recreating the wheel. It's just regurgitating most of the time, right? Most of the time. I guess that doesn't fall true for technology, but this right here is a much better example while Malia's looking at comments. So I already have this highlighted, you guys. This is an example because I wanted to get a recent one so that we can prove that these techniques are not dated. We're not talking about some dated example. This is a juvenile child from September of 2023, 1 month ago, okay? And I couldn't find out if he was guilty or not because they ended up dropping the charges. But he apparently broke into a house and stole some guns or something like that. And they ended up dropping charges completely because of these techniques. And this was in September of 2023. That kid there, I think, is 16 or 17 years old. But look at where the door is. Just like I told you, completely separate example. Look at the chair style he's in. He is in a much lower chair where that officer is literally towering over him. How terrifying must that be? This kid doesn't even have a fully formed frontal lobe. That doesn't happen until 28, 29, 30 years old, okay? And this 17-year-old, 16-year-old, I forget what he was, but whatever, is sitting there in a chair in the corner, meant to feel like they have absolutely no power whatsoever. They've taken it all away from him. You have a cop who's sitting in a rolling chair, rolling around, completely freed, heads above him, peering down on him, separating him between the corner and the door, and saying that book right there that is on the table is full of evidence against you. We got you, son. This is all evidence against you. We got you, okay? They are literally instructed in the read technique to walk in with a thick binded or a thick folder to make it look like they have a whole bunch of evidence that they don't. And that, here, let me play this real quick. So let me find it. I'll give you guys the breakdown real quick here too. Wait. Nope, that's not it. Hang on. Oh, right here. Okay, so this is in California, you guys. This is in California. I know most of you saw this already, but I'm just going to use this as an example. This person was pulled in asking to have a conversation. They were not pulled in as a suspect. That's why I included this video. And I should have explained that when we were talking about this on there. But he was brought in just to have a conversation. And this is the read style of a conversation. It's insane, dude. And They say they have all this evidence against them. I have a disc with video showing that you were shooting on the highway. This was a highway shooter, somebody with a gun shooting at cars on like a very serious situation. And they randomly pull this guy in because someone named him that I think this guy could possibly have what it takes to do a crime like this. The cops pull him in and treat him like this. And I just want to give a shout out to this content creator. Make sure you guys check.
Analyzed by our crime lab.
Okay.
All this is a
And it
lie.
has been shown that bullets that were recovered from our crime scenes came from that gun.
Okay. Now, is there someone can explain to me how my gun got upon without me?
Absolutely.
'Cause
We
I have
seized
not-
it. We seized it.
Okay.
Okay.
Another
Obviously,
lie.
we've done a lot of work on this and done a lot of investigative work. Talked to a lot of people. You just saw a couple.
And look where he's at right here in the upper left-hand picture, you guys. There's the door and there's the corner. And he's in a chair lower than the rest of these officers. That could be his height, but I'm telling you, this is the Read Technique 101 here. And they are more than likely in rolling chairs, these two officers, and he is in a small, stuck chair. And this is a conversation. He wasn't even a suspect, you guys.
Couple people that we've talked to today. We've talked to numerous people regarding this, numerous people that know you. And so we got to fill.
I have no idea how. I mean, implicated in this, right?
Well, here's the thing. Nobody's been hurt yet.
Okay, but I'm
Okay?
telling you, sir,
Nobody
I have
got
not
hurt.
fired
Nobody got
a
hurt.
single shot on the freeway.
Well, I'm
telling you,
telling you.
I go down the shooter road and I go down by PIR and I shoot the water.
Here, Leslie, I'm not going to argue the facts with you.
No, I understand, sir,
So I have the facts. I have the facts in here. Okay? And what I'm here is obviously this doesn't look good.
yeah,
Okay.
you're telling me this is a shock to me, bro.
People do things. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're.
Okay, so multiple things happened there, okay? He tried to clear himself. He tried to say, officer, let me tell you why it's not me. And the officer said, look, hey, I don't want to argue the facts. I have the facts. Those facts are right here, right here. All of that folder on the desk is fake. And this was a conversation, not an interrogation.
Oh,
It's so scary. It is terrifying,
yeah.
terrifying stuff. And he is completely innocent. His gun wasn't used. He wasn't anywhere near the crime. His family wasn't anywhere near the crime. This is happening to him because someone said, hey, I think this guy has the behavioral traits that it takes for someone to do this. 25% plus false confessions.
That's exactly what happened to Dr. Moore. They came in there and was like, we can throw the book at you. Look, we got all of this. You're going down for murder 1 unless you confess. We'll take it easy on you then.
Right. Here.
Frustrated. Maybe things are going on in their personal life.
Same
That's
exact
not
thing.
me.
Well,
I know
your
a gun.
weapon
Gun is a
wasn't.
weapon.
Hey, crime sleuthin'. Hello,
It was
hello.
up here a little bit.
What? Hello, hello.
Hope you're doing well tonight.
Yes, I hope you're doing well and welcome.
And hey, Gina.
Hey, Gina.
We're for real live.
How are you?
Hey, it's what I do.
Yeah. all my experience, I've never been put in a room like this, you guys. All my experience is her interrogating me.
Yep. Exactly.
And then it can hurt somebody.
Your weapon was involved in it.
I have
I got video in there. So if you need to see that video to sit there and prove the
Look, it literally says right here, and I want to give a shout out too. So the video we're watching right now is from beside the dying fire, and they have a whole bunch of interview techniques. And actually, I think they're pro Read technique, if I'm remembering correct.
Oh.
I am completely anti-Read technique, but they do some awesome work, just incredible work. So make sure you guys check them out. We want to give them a shout out, and getting a shout out here on you know, all the podcast platforms. If you guys are interested in interrogation videos, they got them too, along with Crime Circus Cult. So yeah, absolutely.
When this is over, let's catch up on a few comments.
Yes.
The point, rather than being
Okay,
a
so
man,
what's
rather
the
than being a
intent?
man and just admit.
I'll tell you what I've been.
He literally just said to this guy, rather than be a man and just admit that you did this, you want to tell me the truth. What?
I went to 44th Street and Chandler Boulevard because I have a job there. Her name's Nancy Lutz. We did her yard.
This has nothing to do with
That's
anything
what
to
I
do.
did on
This
the
has
outside.
nothing to do with your work or any of this.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, I have not
You're
fired.
familiar with what I am telling you.
Yes,
You
sir.
know.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I follow them. I can't follow shit.
I'm not even talking about your Facebook anymore.
I'm
I'm
fired.
talking, there's no, it's just not out of the blue that you're here, Leslie.
Dude, it really is because I've not fired
It's
my
not
wife
out
in
of,
over 2 months.
it's not out of the blue. You're here for a reason. Here's the thing. I know what happened. I just don't know why.
That classic. I would almost bet money on the Idaho 4 girls getting pulled in
The
and
survivors.
and police saying, I know what happened. I just don't know why it happened.
Yeah.
You know, that is literally classic 101. Read manipulation tactics. That is not allowing somebody to even give you the truth. Like, why do you even put someone in that room if the whole goal is for you to say you're lying, shut your mouth, don't tell me the truth, you're lying. That is literally what the read technique is for a conversation and an interrogation.
Well, I think also the important part is that we already have developed better techniques.
100%, dude. And I'll at the end of this, just real quick, I'll pull the guy up on the screen. The FBI.
The only person that has that answer is you.
No, I can't tell you why because I didn't do it. I don't know how to tell you or what to say here, man.
Well, what I'm trying to figure out is why it happened.
But I don't know what to tell you on that, dude. My gun has been.
Okay, so why would someone who's kind of close to you tell you that they think you are capable of going and doing something like that?
That's the only honest piece in this entire clip here, is that right there. Somebody said that you were capable of doing this thing. That caused this.
Oh, who's that, my boss? You get a hold of him asking that?
No, I'm just
I'm
saying,
not
you
your boss.
just said somebody close to you. Why would somebody close to you sit there and say that you were capable of doing it?
Dude, if you get a polygraph
The
right now,
evidence.
if you get a polygraph right now, I'll pass that shit because I have not.
So you're willing to take a
I'll
polygraph?
fucking take one right now, dude.
Okay, you weren't doing the shootings.
Yes, sir.
I spoke with your wife.
And you know what's even worse there? You know, polygraphs 30% of the time in the overall population, they don't work.
Earlier, and she said that she was with you on the 29th all day.
Mhm.
She said she was with you all day the 30th.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
That's the weekend, man.
And now that he said he's willing to do a polygraph, they are now trying to get him to finger his wife.
What?
That's what they're doing. They're trying to get him to finger his wife as the shooter.
Say
Yeah, they're all weekend.
Well, I'm just asking you.
Yeah, that
I believe.
Yes, sir.
Talking about
Point.
a crime.
Is that the case?
I'm with my wife every.
No, when you're fingering somebody for like blame,
I don't know
weekend.
anybody.
Okay.
Any day I'm not at work, I'm with
So-
my wife and kids.
So if that's the case, and these are dates that these shootings occurred, and you're telling me that you didn't do the shooting, so are you
Fuck,
telling?
no,
So
my
all
wife
right,
didn't
then,
do
well, then look at where I'm coming with
so
this. So
messed up.
somebody had to do it.
It wasn't my wife, it wasn't me, man.
That is so messed up. So now you're willing to take a polygraph, then give us your wife. Where is dude? Right here, this guy. Yeah, so this guy, he has extensive videos on YouTube, and I'll pull it up. And he was an interrogator for the FBI, for the CIA, for the DEA, literally all the federal departments in training and technique, interrogation, and he has not used anything Reed related as long as he's been working for them.
Joe Navarro.
So why is the police departments nationwide using this? I don't get it. I'm going to use the restroom real quick.
Okay. I'm going to catch up on comments. He's been talking forever. But I did see some interesting comments, but there's been a ton since I went through and highlighted them. So, Sarge. Crime shows on stream or otherwise are designed to show you how the system gets bent, but only because the outcome is always right. That's what crime shows teach us, unlike streams like this. That's a really good point. Rumsey, I'm really curious what your training is. Have you told us that before? You were speaking on your experience and them getting evidence before they like use this interrogation technique and like pull you into the police station. Were you law enforcement before? Has Rumsey said before in the chat that she was like previously law enforcement? She said something about experience and training. That is what I will forever do, is just say lawyer. I will not say anything.
People ask for lawyers.
Absolutely. Forever and ever. Especially after learning everything I've learned and like looking more into crime and just lawyer.
Yeah. Dude, I think that police have pushed this idea out there that guilty people ask for lawyers, and that is just not true.
Casey said, I used to think if I was innocent, then I should just cooperate. I was so wrong. I mean,
too.
That's what the police want you to think, though. That's what they tell you is like, if you're innocent, then just cooperate. You don't have anything to hide.
And you know, the times when I was interrogated, when I was younger, when I was a troublemaker, if I had a part in it, is when I wouldn't say lawyer. Because I felt like I needed to prove myself.
Right. You wanted to manipulate the police.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about a vibrating massage chair to relax the perp?
That would be awesome.
I wonder if it would work at all.
No, it wouldn't work. It's simple tactics. Simple tactics. Like this guy, Joe Navarro says. He puts the suspect right by the door because let's be real. I said it in this video. There is like 5 locked doors between that door and the outside. They aren't going anywhere. Right. What does it matter if they're next to the door? If that makes them feel like there is a level of trust between you and that they can be honest, open, and straight up with you, put them by the door. Give them a rolling chair. Let them sit higher than you. Let them feel like they're controlling the conversation. Sales have changed. Sarge actually said this, I think, during the premiere, saying that he was or is in sales too. And by the time you're done with the conversation, they're asking you for service, and that's literally how it should be.
Well, they feel like they're missing out. Right.
Yeah. It's essentially the same thing, whether they're asking you like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I needed these things. I didn't even notice until you showed me, until you pointed them out, you know?
Right.
That's exactly what should be going on in a conversation and an interrogation.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that I'm in such a bad position here that if I just cooperate, you know, there's a likelihood I could get reduced sentence, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever. But that should be the angle.
Yeah. So I thought this was a good comment too. The issue, though, is that the survivors' statements haven't evolved. The stories about their statements have evolved. We haven't heard a word from either. Now, that's a good point, but I don't think Bethany had a statement in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there was a statement in the
There
beginning from
wasn't.
Bethany, at least not that we knew of, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a little bit of evidence. I'm right there with you, Casey. I think that is an awesome call out because you're right that we cannot know everything. It is impossible to know everything about that. But we have seen that they've evolved because and the evidence to back that up is when the case started, when they started going in front of the judge at court, Bethany did not have an eyewitness account, or they weren't talking about it, I guess, which would seem super unlikely since they've been trying to get Bethany in and out and finding out what's going on and everything like that. But it doesn't seem like she had an eyewitness account. Now, all of a sudden she does, right?
Yeah,
Now, all
it's
of a sudden
very,
she
very, very possible that it was taken initially and we just didn't know about it because it was there when they were going to do the hearing before the secret grand jury happened. I'm blanking on what it's called.
Yep.
But it was there because Ann Taylor was going to call her to testify.
Yeah.
So it was there.
That's already after like a month or two, though, which that could just be, that could have been in her back pocket. I get it. I understand that. And I'm not saying that that's not possible, right? I think the whole point of this is opening up the potential of these theories and critically thinking about how this could have happened realistically.
Yeah, but Bethany disappeared. So I think even if there was an evolution, it would have happened in that short amount of time right after the crime. I don't think it would have happened over these months.
She didn't disappear. She disappeared from the public's eye. She did not disappear from the court's eye. The court and police knew where she was.
But there's this comment by Sarge. I advocate a lot about police corruption, and this interrogation system is a huge example of it, and it is trained for use. Yeah,
a phenomenal call out. Agreed. And I despise it because the worst part about it is like, look, if they're using these corrupt techniques, wouldn't you at least expect them to work? They don't.
And they don't. The statistics show that they don't. And Casey, yep, that's right. 72-hour hold. That's happened to me before, and that sucks.
They don't work.
And absolutely, you can lawyer up even if a cop just approaches you on the streets. You have the right to remain silent. That's a very good thing to say, Rumsey.
And I should have put one of those in there, but have you guys seen, there are countless amounts of videos out there where cops will knock on a door, right, to do questioning. And when you open the door, their first move is to stick their foot between the door and your door jam, whatever, the door jam, to close it. And don't let you close it. And then I can't tell you how many times I've seen where someone's like, look, I don't want to talk. I'm going inside. And they go to close the door. And if the door touches their foot, they rip them out of the house and arrest them. So shady. Even in that situation.
Oh, you're talking about the Mississippi situation. Okay.
Not just the Mississippi. If you go on YouTube right now and look up, person hits cop with door on their foot, like, you're gonna find countless amounts of videos, because that is their first thing they do. As soon as you open that door, they stick their foot between the door and you closing it. It is shady, man.
Where's Waldo?
Shady. Isn't it funny how cartoon that costume made me look? Even right there in the picture, straight up like a cartoon, dude.
Somebody said earlier it was like horrifying or something. And I kind of felt the same, to be honest.
Me too.
It was kind of scary, just looking at your face.
When I put the costume on, my first thought in the mirror was like, oh, where's my eyebrows? This makes me look so strange.
That is the first thing you said to me. You're like, I can't see my eyebrows.
They're gone because the glasses.
Michael said, "Oh, is that what interrogation is, Brendan?" Big thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh, you were hauled in once, demanded my lawyer, never heard from the cops again,
Uh,
Tony. Well,
you got it good there. You got it
You
good there,
did.
because a lot of times that they have techniques to slow that down, right? Where they're not asking you questioning, they're asking you, look, are you sure that you want to talk to a lawyer? Are you sure? Because in my experience, has nothing to do with this case, but in my experience, only guilty people ask for lawyers, and you can't come back from that. You know what I mean? Are you sure you don't want to just continue talking to us just a little bit? I don't think you have anything to do with it. If you did, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so
So
shady.
Dara said seems abusive compared to the peace technique. The cop, Rumsey said the cop was hostile to the start.
Agreed.
And Dara said, get what you give. And I think that's a really good comment. Absolutely, you're going to get what you give.
Yep.
I think actually the interrogations where I've seen where they're more trying to get the suspect to mirror like trust and like likability,
Yeah.
where they're like warming up to them and like trying to make them almost like they're trying to make a friend.
Yeah.
It feels like I don't know, it feels much different.
See, there are
Then you feel like the criminal, I feel like at that point might feel like they owe you the truth.
and that's what you're looking for. So there are subconscious human reactions, things that we all do that we don't even realize that we're doing. And just an example of those, like when I'm trying to sell to someone, okay, one of the key things that I look for to know if they are bought into the conversation I'm having, that they're having with me, is if they start mimicking the body language that I'm portraying. So I pay very close attention to what I'm doing with my body. If I'm up against a counter, I'll lean with my right arm and put my left arm in my pocket or up on my hip, because it's an awkward position to where, like, a lot of people aren't going to stand like that. If the person in front of me starts mimicking me, comes over to the counter and leans against it, or puts their arm in their pocket or up on their waist, then they are interested in what I'm saying. Or even the way, like, if your head's cocked to one side, if they mirror you, that is a really good sign that they are trusting what you're saying and they are bought into the conversation. If you're close enough, pupils tell a lot. Pupils tell a whole lot of, and in the moment too. It is immediate and in the moment, where if you offend them, a lot of times they will constrict. If they're bought into what you're saying, happy, gaining something from the conversation, they will grow in size. And then if they're attracted to you, they're really big. But
Okay, so Crime Sleuthin said, sounds like the interrogation of Brendan Avery, and he caved, but he's innocent.
yeah,
Who's Brendan Avery? Do you know who that is?
I think so. I think so. I'm
We're not good
awful
with names. We're not good with
but
names.
I believe so. It's the same thing with the guy that I brought up on the last video too, and I don't remember his name either, but he got convicted of RA in Texas, and he was falsely convicted or whatever, and they had a confession from him, which it was originally from DNA, and they also had a confession from him, which, what's that project called? The
Innocence?
The Innocence Project. The Innocence Project, yes. The Innocence Project approached him and was able to get all that thrown out. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah.
In some cases, Tony asked for a lawyer. Why don't they listen to their rights? I mean, in some cases, like Dr. Moore, he asked for a lawyer multiple times.
Yep. Like over 10 times.
Yep. And sometimes they don't read rights. Like, I don't think Dr. Moore even got read his rights officially until like 8 minutes in.
Yep.
Casey,
or they'll do it like this. You have the right to remain silent. Again, you would say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they go total sales, like, what's that called? Where they're like, trying to buy something.
But even an auction.
Yeah.
But
auction.
even in the case where they actually read your rights, some people just don't handle that confrontation well. They just don't handle it well.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
So there's this.
But I am a person that in some cases of confrontation, I shut down, and it can make me not think logically. It can make me not be able to like communicate well.
Yeah, I get it.
And I don't know how to explain it.
There's a ton of people out there that are like that. A whole bunch of people out there that are like that.
It depends on the situation for me. There's other confrontations I can handle, but then there's some that I can't. It kind of depends.
So there is this technique that they use for underage kids that they're supposed to use, that in my opinion, it should be used with everybody. Every single person that's brought into a conversation where rights are read or not, it doesn't like if it's a suspect interrogation or a conversation, it doesn't matter. If they're read their rights, what I think should happen is they get read to the person line by line. Do you understand that? Okay, so this one here, da, 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 da. Do you understand that? Okay, good. This one here, da, da, da. And then you ask them to read it back to you. That is, there's no workaround there. They will have gotten it. They will have read it themselves. They will have listened to you and broke it down. Some people learn from audio. Some people learn from reading and doing it themselves, you know, and that covers kind of all the bases that you could cover. Yep. Now, here is a big question too, and I've been holding on to this one as we talked about this, but I just lost it.
That's okay. I'm trying to get through comments quick, and you talk for 5 minutes on
Sorry,
every comment.
Sorry.
My good friend was a foster
ranter.
mom. This is from Casey. My good friend was a foster mom, Sunday school teacher, never even had a ticket, sweetest lady I know, and an RN. Just took a 5-year bid for murder, too, because they had her petrified of getting life. What?
That's Dr. Moore, literally Dr. Moore.
Life for murder 1. And after the state's attorney laughed, he was glad she took it because he never would have got a conviction.
Yep, Dr. Moore, literally.
Casey, you should email us her case and ask her if she wants it covered, because that's literally Dr. Moore.
It is. And the Innocence Project is perfect.
Yeah, the Innocence Project should seriously take her case. Yeah, you should email it to us.
So here's something to chew on while you get through the rest of the comments, though. Are any of the conversations from the Idaho 4, whether it's Kohberger, whether it is the 2 survivors, are they recorded? Because if they're not,
shady.
I call BS all the way around, up and down, through and through, left and right, top to bottom. Like that,
they better be
something's
recorded.
Going on.
They better be
I
recorded.
know that Kohberger's isn't. We know that for sure. Which shady.
Yeah. Crime Sleuthen said, and the cops can come back and tell you failed the polygraph, and that's true. They can't come back and say you failed it, even if you didn't.
When for 30% of the population, polygraphs don't work.
Yeah, well, Michael said he can't take a poly. Why is that, Michael? And then we got this comment from Princess. If you have any mental health problems or anything, you aren't supposed to do a polygraph as it affects the results.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh, Isabella, in the UK, the police aren't allowed to lie to suspects during interrogations anymore.
Dude,
they changed it a while ago because it produced false confessions, among other issues. Exactly.
There are so many European countries that do it right. I don't remember right now which country it is, but there's a certain country out there. Highlight Ian's. That's important.
Okay.
No. Like, show it. The irony here is that most psychopathic people are probably the ones that are least likely to respond to these pressure tactics anyways.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hello. But these other, there's a European country that gives their investigators, prosecutors, whatever you want to call it over there. I don't know what they call it, but they only give them like 3 hours. You're allowed to be interrogated for 3 hours, and that is it, because anything past that is considered inhumane. And that is incredible, dude. That forces police to have their evidence, forces them You think they're going to go into an interrogation and waste that 3 hours without perfect evidence to show them that they are the number one suspect of that crime? You know what I mean?
Right. That's a amazing comment, Ian. Seriously.
Yeah, it is.
There, Crime Sleuth said there's a hilarious defense law firm channel that has the "Shut the F Up Friday" videos. Wait,
And it's what about
it's not
interrogation?
Bruce Rivers. It's not Bruce Rivers because he does say stop self-snitching. He's one that does something like that, but
Good.
I don't think he has that. I'm not
Good.
sure that I know that channel. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to
Yeah.
look it up. So there are official statements from DM and BF. We just aren't allowed to see them yet. Police reports, Crime Sleuth said.
Yeah. No, there are, but based on what the police said in the beginning, the police said that they are not eyewitnesses.
Right,
Which
from
means,
the beginning.
Yes, which means there are not statements. An eyewitness is a statement.
They can give a statement and still not be called a witness,
What?
can't they?
No, not if you've seen something, then you are an eyewitness. Those yeah, that's what it is.
He didn't officially say they're not a witness, though. He just said, I don't think I said they're a witness. I said they were there. Like, he left it very general, and I think that was intentional. You think Peace said, I think Bethany lawyered up right away.
I don't think that was done very intentional. One, I don't believe that I've seen enough evidence coming out of that police station to feel confident that they have those kind of tactics down, just because they don't have a lot of experience with crimes like these. And it's not shots fired. Okay. It just is what it is. Look up the history of that police department and how many crimes that they've had to deal with over the years. And they are severely lacking in that area, which is a great thing. That's not a bad thing. I'm not putting them down for it. It just is what it is. But if they were eyewitnesses at that time, they would not have came out and tried to correct it, dude. I don't believe it. Do not believe. That's opinion. That is opinion.
I get your
but
opinion.
I don't believe it.
I just want to say hi to Regina real quick and Elliot.
Yes.
Everybody remember, Elliot needs, if you are talking to him, you got to make sure to @ him to where it highlights his name so that it will read it to him, because he's legally blind. But we're so glad to see you again. We still have a ways to go tonight. Yes. Gosh. Don't worry about it. So the state has had it. The private investigator found it before the prelim. It just wasn't against BK.
What are you talking about there?
Yeah, what are you talking about there, Casey? Because I don't see any other comments. She gave one at day one. It's only the defense wanting to get info. Okay. About the statements from the girls. Yeah, I think is what she's talking about. I'm still a little confused.
Yeah, that's my point. That sells my point, in my opinion.
Sergeant Friday, also selling a service by building their comfort level and confidence in you, not by talking about you, but them and their issues. That's how I run my sales.
Yeah. I can tell you know what you're talking about for sure.
Yeah. Baker Act. The girls. Is that what you think, Gina? That is my question. I wonder if there are any previous cases with the Moscow interviewers that the public can view to see their techniques. Well, this is such like a low crime area as far as it comes to like cases of this magnitude. I'm not sure that there are, unless we Freedom of Information Act request stuff like that, which we could. We could send in a request to see if there's any interrogation videos they could provide. I don't know. I don't know. I would hope they would provide them.
There are multiple. It is
out on the internet.
Body cam footage when they are talking to somebody and giving somebody a ticket. The read techniques come out in those conversations, and you can see them. They interrupt the person, which is read technique 101. Do not let them tell you a different story. Essentially, what they're saying is if the person in front of you is honest and trying to give you an honest reason why this is what's going on, you interrupt them and shut them down. What? And that's what you see those cops doing, dude.
Maybe we should pull up some of the body cam footage from out there. I honestly think the point of these interrogation techniques is to make the cops themselves feel powerful.
I think that's why they're still being used. I agree. I think that it feeds an ego, which cops already tend to have right now in our country. And it's making them very hard to do away with them. When you have somebody here, this is what I would call an expert. I don't call police expert on interrogations unless they are certified therapists, psychologists, know about human body language and emotional experience, whatever, you know. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist either, but you guys get what I'm saying. They aren't experts either. They're being trained a read technique and not being trained what officially works the best for humans and human psychology. Why doesn't it? Oh, it did show up. Yay.
Oh, yay. Yeah, you're going to have to scroll down to the bottom.
Yay.
New member, Regina.
Yes, new member. Welcome, Regina. We are super stoked to have you. And yeah, I will post the link for everybody else. And we have a growing community and an awesome group of members that are very supportive of each other. And there are multiple people in here with multiple different opinions and theories. And that's what we love. One thing that we're trying to avoid here in Thought Riot is an echo chamber. I don't want everyone to think the same things that I do. That is so boring. I want people to bounce ideas off of. I want people that are comfortable enough to say, hey, Brendan, you're full of it, man. You're looking at this thing wrong. Let me tell you why. We want that here. No echo chambers. We want people to feel comfortable in here that believe literally the exact opposite of us, you know, and I respect all opinions, all theories, all personalities. And we just appreciate having a platform and community where we're able to talk together. So I am super stoked that it's growing, and welcome again. We appreciate that and look forward to the continued thought rioting.
Hello.
You got the emotes now.
Hey, Violetta. Yeah, I just added a tomato one tonight too. Everybody was super happy about that.
Cough.
I see some interesting comments in here though, that because we're kind of behind on comments. Sorry guys, it's getting more
and you go
more
back
busy
and back and forth and back and forth. You should just go straight down.
I highlight them. That's what I'm doing. Hot Witch, thank you.
Yeah,
it turned out way better than I expected it to. I actually changed my costume last minute. Gina said, OMG, I asked for a lawyer and they told me I didn't need one. I wasn't a suspect at that time. They've done that to me. They've done that to me. And I was young and I didn't know. So here's my little interrogation story. I was in like 8th grade. There were DRUGS, going around the school.
Dope.
There were, it was dope. There were lockers designated for drop-offs and pickups. And I was like kind of a part of it. So it was actually over summer break. I get a call from a police officer. Well, my mom does. And they're like, we need to talk to your daughter. Bring her up here. We need to have a chat. And you know, she asked them what it's about. And they're like, you know, it's about something that went on at school this past year. So we go up there and apparently they found a note that some kid wrote that they found over the summer break talking, because apparently the school knew this was going on, but could never figure out who it was. They found a note some kid wrote that had my name on it about it. And they read technique to me, like there with my mom, and my mom didn't know what to do. She was just like, you know, like, should I get a lawyer? And they're like, no, if she just tells us what's going on, she won't be in trouble. I don't even remember how I got out of it, but I remember that it was terrifying. And I had some kind of like repentance with the school. And then they said it would like I had to do something with the school. It was like some kind of community service or something like that. But I never was like officially charged or anything. So I don't remember exactly how they swung that. But
that sounds similar to me. What's funny is I was I got in a fight with a police officer in high school, and it was
a physical altercation.
Yeah, literally fighting. Me and my best friend against him. And it ended up getting me kicked out, and it was only like 3 months into my senior year, which I was already 1 year ahead of everyone else. But so they kicked me out. I went to a continuation school that gave real diplomas, and I graduated in 2 weeks. So I got rewarded.
I had to go to alternative school too.
Yeah.
It was all on the computer.
Yeah.
I ended up just not doing it. And I tested out of school.
So I was super lucky. I went to the continuation school, and it was a teacher that I had in 5th grade that I caused so many issues with. Like it was so many issues, dude. And it ended up turning into a lawsuit, getting him fired, all this stuff. And when I walked in,
is that the teacher that put duct tape on your mouth?
Nope, that's not the teacher that put duct tape on my mouth. That was my 6th grade teacher.
Okay.
And that also was a big deal, and national television. But I walk in, he was like, I thought that was you. And I could tell he still had resentment against me from like 5th grade, dude. And he was like, look, I don't want to argue with you. I'm pretty sure he said, I know you don't want to be here, and I don't want to be here. So how about I give you all your work, you finish it. When you're done, then you graduate. And I was like, cool, let's do it. So I just took all my work, and I think it was like 8 or 9 essays I had to do. So I just went online and bought 9 essays and turned them in 2 weeks and graduated, man. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I agree. It's terrible. I agree. And if I become a parent, that would never happen with my kids.
Yeah, no way.
No way.
So Stephen Avery was this is Crime Sleuthin', wrongfully convicted and got out on DNA, was weeks from millions from WI.
I showed all those.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't talk about him.
No, it was just why you were talking, so we get caught up on.
Okay. Medication and TBI, good to know. Michael, I didn't realize that stuff affected polygraphs.
Oh,
that being on certain medications
Absolutely.
and stuff. Okay, that show we watched.
It's a mix between your blood pressure, heart rate, and sweat.
Okay, but that show we watched where they're like, just tighten your butt cheeks the whole time.
No, you have to start the baseline in pain. That's the real.
Okay.
That's the real.
Okay.
If when they're trying to gather a baseline for you and you're in pain, then your baseline is skewed. But you got to watch out for the polygraph, because sometimes they'll pick up on it and try and do a secondary baseline without you knowing.
Hi, Bon Bon.
Yes. Hey, Bon Bon. And hello. Go up.
I already said
Violetta.
Hi. I think I said hi to Violetta.
Hey,
already.
Violetta.
Hey, Violetta. If I didn't say hi to you. That's really sad to hear your story, Regina, though.
It is. It's awful. It's awful.
I did read through it. Here, let's go down.
Yeah, we appreciate that. One thing I did want to say to you guys, just to clear air and everything else, I feel like everyone that watches us knows how we feel about it, and we are like super anti-drama. So if we love every content creator out there, you guys, literally all of them. If you're a content creator, I look at you as an artist and I respect your work. And I will always shout you out, even if it's somebody that I don't personally watch. I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate you and everything you're doing on YouTube. So I just want to be very clear with people that, you know, there tends to be a lot of drama in the true crime community, and we are running Thought Riot and the True Crime Talk Show like a business. We have been business owners multiple times, and we just aren't willing to be a part of that. So like when people try bringing up comments about personal stuff or drama or things like that, forgive me, but I will not respond with any detail. I will keep it very vague. And hey, I hear you. I appreciate it. But you know, this is what we're doing. So I hope nobody takes offense to that. But we're here to offer a platform for you guys to talk with us about things that we find interesting and question, and the goal is to critically think on these topics and try and create a more welcoming, caring, loving community that accepts all theories and opinions and works together, because we'll always get more done working together. You know, it doesn't have to be a major traumatic event to bring people together. We can go out of our way to be accepting of people. So just to clear the air, you know, if anyone comments or anything, or you want to give us a tip, I appreciate that always. If it's anything to do with like drama or talking directly about somebody, something, or personal topics, you know, we just won't engage in that.
Yeah, and there's also a difference between drama and somebody like being convicted of something horrific. You know what I mean? Like something really bad.
I mean,
and then they're out there like trying to, you know, be a part of something maybe they should not be a part of. You know what I mean? Like if we had,
I don't.
like, say there was a convicted pedo that was a content creator, okay?
Yeah, that's way different.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
It's
like
way
the one
different.
thing out there, because I will have convicted murderers on here to ask, talk to, and understand their point. I'm not bringing them on here to glorify or highlight crime. I want to know why their mind works the way that it works and how it works the way that it works, and we're going to stay on topic. You know what I mean? So I don't care about people's personal lives. Personal life is your own. You know, we try really hard, and I feel like we do a pretty good job not letting, I expect as much personal life from you as I'm giving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
it's a really good point. That was a good statement, I think. I couldn't have said it better myself. And congrats on being sober, Regina. That's an amazing feat.
Oh, yes. Congrats.
Amazing feat. She said 9 years in
Wow,
December.
that's incredible, man. And addiction, every single family in the entire U.S., I don't know about world stats, I forget it, but in the U.S. has been impacted by addiction or drugs.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Every single person knows somebody that battles with it. So when people have that much sobriety, it is a big deal. So if I could pat you on the back or give you a high five or a hug, I would, because that's a big deal.
It is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Brendan got in a fight and his mom got scared. He got sent to stay with his aunt and uncle in Bel Air.
Yeah.
I know this story.
No, I got sent to stay with my grandma in Huntington Beach.
That sounds kind of nice.
It was. I'm telling you, I got rewarded for all my bad behavior, you guys.
Oh, Bon 5 years. Amazing for you too.
Yes, that is incredible, you guys. Incredible, you guys.
How do you recover from duct tape, right?
Oh gosh.
That story is ridiculous.
Yeah. I will I'll share that story on our membership. So we're gonna be coming out with these stories for our members, and like, what could I say? I have a history working with crews for big gains is the best thing I could say. I'm trying to explain it without like, you know. Yeah. So that's my history and why I've been interrogated the way that I have, but
right. Exactly. Joking. I would talk to an FBI agent.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll bring on any FBI agent.
Oh, 28 years sober is also incredible. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
That's a long time, man.
Yes. That is incredible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think you
Man,
actually
that's
said something
amazing.
about being sober before in the chat, but I don't know if you said 28 years. That's incredible.
Yes, the Fresh Prince of Huntington all day. Absolutely. I love Huntington Beach. Love it. I have salt water in my veins, you guys. And Chicago, there's no real beach out here. None.
Yeah, we also had some drama in the chat the other day, and I don't want it to ever feel like people have to defend their beliefs in the chat. I think everybody should be able to share and then have a discussion about it.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
we shouldn't have to, like, people shouldn't have to get on the defense to talk about this.
Correct.
Because there shouldn't be this like that's why we always make that statement. We don't have emotional buy-in for him being innocent or guilty.
Right.
We're not set on either. We want to look at the evidence and let it go where it may. The way the police should be doing it.
Yes, yes.
It's the way the cops should be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's funny is so many people will come on here and be like, hey, so where do you guys stand? Do you think Kohberger is guilty or innocent? And all I can say is neither, because this is an open investigation and an open case. So with the current evidence that they have against Kohberger, I see it very hard for myself to buy into the fact that he is definitely guilty, because this is a weak case. And I can give examples of why it's a weak case. I could give you, if you guys are listening and you want an example, a straight up comparison, go look at Gilgo 4. I say this all the time. Gilgo 4 is what is a real slam dunk case with slam dunk, with the slam dunk investigation and evidence against a man. This is so weak. It is so weak. And I feel like every single hot topic that they use against Kohberger, like they'll say, hey, yeah, but there's DNA against him. Okay. Touch DNA that has been proven in 3 that I could find in a 5-minute period. Science tests that show that somebody can transfer DNA from one person onto themselves and onto a knife over and over and over and over and over again. So yes, there is DNA there, but understand how touch DNA and trace DNA works. So it is damning evidence. It is. And the defense is going to have to deal with that. There's no way around that. It looks really bad. And a jury of his peers is going to look at that and be like, oh man, how did that get there? There is no doubt that is a very rough piece of evidence against him. Okay. And it could be because he is the guy, but it could also be because it got transferred from one person to another, or depending on where that sheath came from, it could have been transferred from there. Or was that sheath ever brought up and used as an example in one of the in one of the classrooms when they were talking about criminology? It could have been put on there. And going the fraudulent ways, is it possible police also had a part in it? Of course it's possible. I do everything I can to trust police and have their back in any situation until I have a reason not to. However, I feel like we have a very good example of why we should have concerns if you watch and or know the Dr. Moore Part 1 and Part 2 videos. Those lead investigators, that 100%, it is not opinion. This has been confirmed by multiple judges in court that illegal tactics and fraudulent setup tactics were used to set up Dr. Moore. Those same officers are lead investigators in the Idaho 4 case. So again, big question marks there. You know what I mean? Then you look at the cell phone evidence. They're like, yeah, but we show him here all these multiple times in this area. Okay. But if you watch our cell phone evidence and triangulation, I am a cell phone expert. I can read any of that in any way. I dealt with it for 15 years directly with towers. And the first thing you got to look at is, what is the tower's coverage? You cannot look at a tower and say, oh, That's a cell phone tower. It covers up to 40 linear miles from any direction. Doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. And there's a reason why the FBI CAST group goes and does their own tests on towers themselves. And all of the evidence in this case is like that.
It's all like that.
There's all okay, I guess it looks bad, but what about this? You know?
Yeah.
Every single piece.
Our main concern from the beginning of the case is having a murderer on the streets. Whether Bryan is found innocent because of subpar investigation and he really is the killer, or that they got the wrong guy and there's a killer out there right now.
Yeah. My fingers are crossed every day they have the right guy. I want Kohberger to be the guy, because if he's not, the real one's out there, and that is terrifying.
Yeah, I see this echoing throughout the chat. None of us should have our minds made up yet, technically. Yes, we are human, but he's innocent till proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And in a death penalty case, it better be even higher than that.
Yeah, no, good point, Sarge.
Crime Sleuthin, which case are you meaning, comparing PCA to PCA in cases or evidence? I think he meant general evidence of the two cases, like the major hard-hitting evidence with the Gilgo Rex Heuermann case versus the Kohberger Idaho 4 case.
So for people that believe 100% he's guilty, there's this idea that it is a slam dunk case. And one of the arguments they use is, well, they have DNA of him there. They have cell phone evidence and proof that he's there. They have video. He was in the general area. They have all these things, but technically, yes, they do have those things. But what is the reliability behind those things? And I admit, dude, until I just recently did that DNA video, I believed 100% that DNA either matched or it didn't. Once I did the investigation into that, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no such thing as DNA being it matches or it doesn't. It's impossible. Every single DNA profile is brought up by a percentage basis of likelihood of a match. It is wild. But yeah, just comparing like what a slam dunk case looks like in evidence, which is the Gilgo 4, in comparison to what a not slam dunk case looks like in the Idaho 4.
Yeah, they approved a connection to all three of those victims. They didn't even charge him on the fourth because they couldn't prove the connection.
And it also, I think they would be able to charge him on the fourth, but it ends up coming down to a situation where time versus money. Are we going to invest more money into a solid prosecution of Heuermann?
They want to get him on it, though.
Sure, but they're not going to invest the same kind of time into that fourth body when they have him on life plus on the first three. There's this idea that, like, well, the FBI, you know, they want to be able to give justice to that victim. I'm sorry, you guys, but that's not true. The FBI does not look at things like that. They are a corporate entity and they have their bottom dollar to worry about. They solve crimes where they can, but if they can take somebody that they know ended 4 people and get them on 3 and save money on the 4th, and those 3 put them away for their entire life, that's what they will do.
I don't know.
Absolutely. They are not out there to be virtuous.
They want to close cases too. I'm not talking about virtue. They want to close cases though.
Yeah, and that is closed.
And they're investing a ton of time in him, looking into him all over the country.
I understand that. I get it, but they're not investing a ton of time looking into that one. They're looking at other potential leads, meaning they're not going to continue investing money into that one person. They are going to look at that final nail in the concrete and just verifying and buttoning up those last buttons. He's done, dude.
He is done, but I don't know if I entirely agree with you.
This is a situation where, yes, it's innocent until proven guilty, but you guys, like, look at that evidence. He's guilty.
Yeah, he is. My opinion. But there was a dude convicted of murder based on trace DNA when the murder happened while he was literally in the hospital. Weird. That's super weird.
Oh, there's a ton of examples, Ian. A ton of examples with trace DNA.
There is. And then have literally been exonerated using the DNA.
Let me see if I
and
DNA video. See if I attached the science.
And I watched that interview. Well, I don't know about if it was yesterday, Bon, the one that I watched. Was she on there again for a second time? I watched the first one, and I thought it was pretty good, but
Yes. So this video right here, you guys, and for our audio listeners, it is Idaho 4 dash Koberger DNA workup dash DNA statistics, honest or dishonest mistakes. And then the first two links in here are the tests that were conducted by colleges and experts in DNA and touch DNA. And both of these tests prove that DNA can be placed on, in this situation, a murder weapon by somebody else without you being there. 100%. 100%. And it is actually this video here for those of you that want to see the thumb. This DNA analysis. And the links are down in the bottom.
And Bon said she did come on TNT again yesterday. That's awesome. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What is that? The FBI cast?
Where? The FBI cast did not do the work on BKPCA though. Exactly. Which is what a lot of people want to say. They did.
The FBI cast did work on.
Did it got thrown out though, didn't it?
The cast is cellular analysis. I'll
just look it up.
Yeah, it's about to come out. So this video right here, you guys, let me show you. So actually, I'll show you this one first. So,
Cellular Analysis Survey Team.
Yes. So that is it. But watch this video right here. So this video, we go into the cell tower data and triangulation. And I know that stuff like the back of my hand. That is my expertise, is cellular information. And I think I would probably be competition against one of the cast team members, honestly. And I have tools at my disposal that they don't have. They have to build their own cell tower reenactment maps or whatever using trilateration and triangulation and geolocation, depending on what it is they're doing and everything. But watch this. This is specifically cell tower data and triangulation. Now, the follow-up is tomorrow's video, which is this one right here. GPS satellite data, and we actually go into the exact response, and Payne talks about working directly with the FBI cast, and the cast told Payne that this is what Bryan Koberger's phone did. Now, sounds great, sounds grand and everything, but I just bring up some questions and concerns. And when I put out that triangulation video on cell tower, everyone was like, yeah, but they aren't even using cell tower data. They're using GPS. And what's super funny, you guys, is only someone with expertise in cellular would know this, but cell tower triangulation is the most reliable and most accepting in court. They do not use GPS if they don't have to. GPS is a backup to trilateration and triangulation. And the reason being, I should just wait for that video.
Yeah,
I explain all this in the video.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
You don't need to explain it all. Dara said, Brendan, you and Malia, welcome for CA California visits to film. What do you mean, Dara? I'm not sure what you mean. We're welcome to come to California to film.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I miss it. I grew up in Southern Cali.
Yeah, and I'm from Northern California. I lived in Southern California too, but
that's why I say dude and bro so much.
Yeah.
Everyone complains that I talk slow. It's totally
I didn't expect people to say we talked slow because I moved from California to the South
mean,
and people in the South talk super slow and it always bothered me. So I never thought I talked slow.
yeah. Well, when in comparison to like Chicago
Right.
and New York
You're
and
right.
the East Coast, people from Southern California talk slow. I have like that SoCal draw, you know what I
We're
mean?
covering Tupac this week on the podcast, right?
Maybe if we can fit it in, man.
We're going to try to Bon, but I know that's crazy.
We're gonna try and fit it in.
So the police have already cast doubt on the cast when
And
they
they
told
should.
us he was
Yes.
at the scene 9:15 a.m. only later to state that it was an error. He was out of the area.
Dude,
my gosh.
exactly. You said it right. So I didn't realize that's what you meant. So they intentionally didn't include it in the PCA because of that doubt. I got you now.
DNA graded on a curve.
Yes, actually, DNA is graded on a curve or percentage of likelihood. And it usually is presented as, and this is crazy, you guys. So there was a Florida case where DNA evidence was brought forward, and the DNA expert said, this DNA evidence is 1 in 2, which means it could be 50% of the world's population. And the judge said, that's evidence, and we still need to bring it in. 50%, dude.
Gina said, my house was the end house where they found 7 bodies on the south side of Ocean Parkway and Oak Beach, where Shannon Gilbert went missing across from the 4 bodies in Gilgo.
Whoa, dude.
Gina, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. That's wild. That I'm sure that was scary, wasn't it?
That is crazy.
Being right in the middle of it, essentially. Jeez.
Yeah, that's super scary. Super scary.
So Crime Sleuthin looked, yes, 14th, not the day killings. 13th is on page 15 of the affidavit. Thanks for that, where they talk about there being an error with the cell phone triangulation and him revisiting. So that's what you're saying, right, Crime Sleuthin, is that they said they made that error on the day after, which would have been the day where he supposedly revisited the crime.
Yeah.
That the media keeps talking about and presenting as a fact.
Yes, that's the 13th ping that they want to leave off.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what else is funny too is so many people responded back to me saying, hey, by the way, that's not true. Apple does give into warrants, and kind of, I guess, most of the time they deny giving the police warrants. There had been huge federal lawsuits against Apple, and Apple has one of the best legal teams in the entire world. So what they do now is when there's a warrant submitted to Apple, Apple complies and gives them what's it called? Data that is I'm having an ADHD moment right now. Encrypted. They say, okay, yeah, we'll give you all the data that you're looking for, and they give them the encrypted data that is a top secret decryption code in order to decrypt it, and they do not give them that. Dude, Apple is shiesty when it comes to personal data. They are like personal data absolutists. They do not play with that.
So, sorry. You said no, read the PCA. Cop said he talked to the FBI cast and did it himself. Okay, we're going to have to look again. I've read that PCA so many freaking times, and I still go back and have to, like, fact check. Cast is for cell phone towers?
Cast is for all things cellular related. So they do use GPS. They absolutely do.
Because that is phone related.
It is phone related. Right. It is not cell phone company related. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong.
We're going to get into it tomorrow, like real deep though. And I feel like he explains it really well.
Yep.
And later they come out and say they don't believe that's accurate. He was out of the area.
Background.
Where?
So 15 years in wireless, 15 years in wireless, at a national level, global level, work directly with America's top corporations having to break down, plan, and execute sales packages with confirmation that it would be successful service. So that would include looking at tower strength, tower data, tower reliability, creating maps to confirm that, yes, we got you, man. You can have this many devices in this general area. If you don't, we're going to put up a mini cell for you. We're going to put in a mini box or whatever. We called them boxes, but it's essentially just a mini tower. And it depends on what kind of operating system you're working with, if you're using a network connection or not. We have both of them. So
Okay, so
and the cast team they are working with their hands tied behind their back, because the wireless tools that I had would do everything that the cast team did automatically, dude. Automatically.
it doesn't really matter which ping was wrong when it comes down to it. How can we trust any of the other pings? Bon, that's a good point.
It needs to be presented with a percentage of reliability,
Right.
in my opinion.
And thank you, Dara. So Crime Sleuthin said that's not exactly accurate. With all due respect, if you pull up the full cell tower site map, there are lots of towers in the Moscow and Pullman area, depending on your carrier, and they hand off. I don't know if you saw the cell tower video, but we pulled up maps, and he has some really good maps where he shows their exact coverage.
Yeah.
Even down to like what service you're gonna get, like 5G,
Here,
4G, 3G.
I'll show you real quick.
It doesn't work that way exactly.
But you're right. You're right, Crime
right.
Sleuthin, but
Right.
there are 30 towers in the Moscow area. However, I think it's more than 30. I'm averaging. But all of those except for 3, and one of them's questionable. So 2. And honestly, even one of those is questionable because it's a mini tower. There is only one real tower in Moscow. The other 2 are mini towers or small cell sites. But those other 30 towers that you're talking about are closed network lines, meaning only police,
emergency services,
hospitals, and anybody that has a direct connection to those NXO or PXO. I'm forgetting it right now. ADHD. It might even be CXO. Those CXO lines, you have to have an access to them, and you can only gain access to them by having the exact SN or SEID preloaded on that network. They are all owned by Verizon. The other 2 towers are, there's not different towers for different carriers. There are 3 total towers, 1 real, 2 mini sites. All of them use it.
Right. And from what you were saying, because she was saying they do hand off carrier to carrier. I worked at AT&T Wireless for years, but would love to see the map. So I think he was saying you're right about them handing off carrier to carrier, right? That's what you were saying that she was right about?
What?
That they hand off carrier to carrier?
What do you mean hand off? That one cell site works all carriers? Yes, but that's
one
because
tower has the little things. I don't remember what they're called for each cell phone company.
Here, this right here. This is one cell site. They're called cell sites. And each row is one carrier. So this is what you will likely see. However, in Moscow, there are 2 mini cell sites, and those cell sites are on the top of, I don't remember that name. It's one of the student.
It's the Phyllis
Yep.
Tower or something like that, and there's a water tower also.
So these are the 3 towers. Anything else are closed lines. They are NXO lines. Even this is an NXO line. Right here. This is not an open line for the general public to use. It is 1,
in the
2, 3
Moscow
right there.
area.
And this is the only real tower. This is a mini tower, and this is a mini tower right here.
You're talking about the blue dot And
the
then,
blue dot.
yeah,
Correct.
the blue dot is one, which that's the one on the water tower.
Correct.
The other one that
And you
actually,
can see it here. This is the
Right.
blue dot right there.
yep.
Um,
And then the one below it. So the blue dot is the water tower. The one below it's the Phyllis Tower or whatever,
Yep.
which is a mini one on top of a building.
Correct.
And then the one to the south is like a legit cell phone
280-foot tower. 280-foot tower. And
And
so
this isn't
this is only a one-sided tower. That's why it's not a true tower. It is on the side of a water tower, and it only covers 120 degrees of one side. It does not have 360 sides of coverage. And there it is right here. This is the one on Theophilus. And this is the coverage, the range of coverage. And as you can see, it barely covers King Road right here. This is the water tower coverage that does not cover King Road right here, nor does it cover most of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, and this is the building it's on top of. And then this is the only real tower. You can see the difference between the 360 coverage. This is a closed band. This is a closed band. 1, 2, 3 open bands. And that is all that is in Moscow. Those closed bands do not hand off. There is no handshake.
Okay, so
These are the closed bands.
The one to the south and the one on the building, not the water tower, are the only two that cover King Road, right?
Yep. I'm sorry. It's FXO. FXO. So these are just 6 examples of the closed lines, and there is no frequency connection. They are completely and totally closed off. They don't give you any details to the public.
Crime Sleuthin has a question real quick.
Yeah.
Is it true that one of those towers serves Moscow and Pullman, and a person could be in one place yet ping off the other?
So I think you're talking about,
it's the tower in Pullman, isn't it? That does that?
So the tower in Pullman does do that, but the one in Moscow, the only way that you would be in Pullman and be able to connect all the way down to King Road is if there was something wrong with the other 2 towers. Otherwise, if that's what you're talking about, maybe that's what you're talking about, Crime Sleuthin. I apologize. So will it hand off to these other 2 towers? Yes. So one thing people get wrong is your phone is connected to all towers at all times, all of them in range. You are not connected to one,
but not the closed ones.
Not the closed ones. So you are, if you are triangulated like this here, if you're triangulated, hang on here. If you're triangulated right here, and this is you are connected to all 3 of these towers. You're just prioritizing one, but all of these towers are sending a frequency to your phone, and that's called the RTT time, round trip time of frequency. And that RTT time is in I say seconds in the video, but when I say seconds, it's just easier than saying milliseconds every time. But it's measured in milliseconds from how long it takes for the frequency to get to your phone and back. And that's how they best guess your location.
Did you ever look into that specifically, though? I don't remember if you actually looked at it to see if you could be in one place and ping off the other.
Yes.
Did you?
I did. Yep.
Okay, I don't remember.
What do you mean if you can be in one place or ping off the
like,
other?
Could
You're
you
connected
be in
to
Pullman?
all towers.
Could he have never left Pullman and ping like he's in Moscow because he's connecting to one of those towers?
Yes.
So which one?
I just don't remember if it's the Phila whatever tower or the water tower. One of them does cover that area because that's the main road in, and cell towers always cover the main roads in. So yes,
I think the water tower's the one that covered the road in. From what I'm remembering, I remember it did this weird kind of thing where it went off really far to the left and then it went off like far to the right and covered a bunch of like kind of the top of downtown, but not down towards King Road and the university.
Yes. Absolutely.
Anyway.
So cell phone towers are are reliable. I don't want to say they're not reliable. They are. They just aren't reliable in Moscow, you guys. Like in my entire career in wireless and working with, leading companies, working with Apple directly, working with Google and YouTube directly. And that's how we have YouTube contacts and Google contacts, which can help with the channel and things like that.
Oh, good night. Thank you, Anne.
Yeah.
Sorry we missed your comment.
I'm sorry,
Have
Ann.
a great night. If you're still here,
Yes,
we appreciate
you. We appreciate you big time.
And I hope tomorrow goes okay for you. I know you're, going to the hospital early.
Yes,
but
we will send our positive thoughts your way. But what I was saying in short is cell phone triangulation is a big deal. And it is reliable in literally every situation except for Moscow, you guys.
Gina, I'm on 11 out of 16 satellites, not towers. I saw your little short video you tagged us in, Gina, showing your little box.
Yeah. Yeah.
It made me laugh, but
it's
interesting.
Incredible. Yeah.
What is that box specifically make you do that? Like,
no,
I don't understand
it's
that.
Satellite TV. It's a network for TV service, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But so GPS triangulation, they can triangulate with 3 towers.
But not in Moscow
at
112 King Road or whatever.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could not do that at the home.
No.
There's no way to do it at the home, which is insane to me.
Yeah, it's because of the tower placement.
So how do they pinpoint a person's cell location? He goes really into depth into that, Crime Sleuthin', and I know you said you're going to watch the video in full tomorrow. But yeah, he talks about that a lot. It's the RTT time, like you were saying, the round trip time.
Here, so towers are split up into 3 segments.
It's a really interesting topic because when you really look into it, you see how this isn't reliable in this specific case.
In literally just this case.
Case. And I found an article on the Idaho Statesman from months ago where a specialist was talking about it, and he's like, if I were the prosecution, I wouldn't bring this up because they're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Like the defense is going to bring somebody in and they're going to realize like, oh, we are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
they're
this
big
is not
time
reliable.
Wrong. Yes. Yeah. Yes. They're way wrong. Like I would have steered way clear of this 100%. If I'm the prosecution, I wouldn't have even brought this up, dude. I wouldn't have even said anything.
That's what he was saying in the Idaho Statesman article. Yeah. I'll post that article in Discord too, because it's also interesting.
Just bringing it up has given defense firepower to make the prosecution look like they're mistreating Bryan Kohberger. Looking at it from a court perspective. But
so just explain the pinpointing real quick.
Yeah, real quick. So this is what you would see cast break down here. And all cell phone towers, when it's not a mini cell and it's an actual tower with 360-degree coverage and looks like a triangle, all cell towers are a triangle. And each side is one of those sectors. So we'll just say A, B, and C, A, B, C, just for simplicity. Then this is the tower. You will be placed somewhere in this sector. So they would be able to say, Crime Sleuthin'. So we see that you're in sector A here. Your RTT time, as you're on the phone here, which is a reliable connection, is 12 miles from the tower, because it's taking your RTT time is like, 1.3 milliseconds, which that's not real. It'd be more than that, but 1.3 milliseconds. So we know that you're roughly in sector 5 to 6, or in sector A between range 5 to 6, which could be anywhere between 9 and 12 miles. And then what they can do with that is just one tower is in most places. Like a good example is the YNW Melly case, you guys. He was under 10 towers, 10. And that is common. That is like, if you're in New York, I bet you're under 50 towers all the time.
That's wild.
But yeah, but in Moscow, Like there is just no towers, dude. It's one of the wild. I've only seen that in like 3 different places. One of them Montana, one of them Moscow, and one of them New Mexico. If I think it's New Mexico, maybe it's Nevada, but it's just so uncommon, and every extra tower you have, the more reliability that creates. Moscow is just like, oh, strange, man.
Yeah, I don't know how to ask these kind of questions when it comes to this stuff exactly either. It's kind of confusing to me, but I feel like I understand it a lot better since this video and the one that's going to come out tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
also really good. Crime Sleuthin had to go. She's got to hop on a panel, but she said she's going to
Yeah,
watch tomorrow.
For sure. We appreciate all the
we
questions.
haven't been
Love it.
arguing, and we're not married. So here, let's see. Catch up on a few comments real quick.
They're not going to put something in the PCA that hurts them. I mean, unfortunately, they did. It's not. Listen.
Oh, thank you so much. You create your own karma. That's a cool name.
That is.
I love that.
So,
and Miss Tandy, hey, we are in Illinois.
Why not for Moscow? Because of the lack of towers. Yes, and tower placement. So, like, dude, so is it possible to have 3 towers overlapping at 1122? Yes, I guess it's possible if you're pulling from Pullman, the down south towers, and the mini cell tower. But the problem lies in those towers are lit a line, a straight line. So it's the south tower, the mini tower, and then the Pullman tower in a straight line.
Yep.
It's not going to give good overlap.
Nope. So wait, I know Regina said, I know Elon has a satellite or something from Ukraine to make calls. Do we use anything like that?
We do. Right here. Hang on.
Well, Gina has a comment kind of about that too with phones, because she said it's not cable, it's for phone, I think is what she's saying. I have to read the comment more in a second.
So that's this tomorrow, you guys, right here. This will be tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. But yes, we do have that. We do.
Okay, where's Gina? Okay, yeah. Gina said not cable. I don't watch TV or have cable. And then she said, and thank you, Sarge, for telling everybody to please like the stream. It helps us get it out to more people. It really helps support the channel.
Thank you.
So Gina said that is from Verizon because I keep calling about my phone being hacked, and that I told the FBI they're in trouble and they have to give me a new phone and a new number, and they refuse to.
So
what the heck?
So is that the I forget what Verizon calls it, but it's essentially a home phone base that ties directly to your cell phone. Is that what that is? I don't remember Verizon's number. I've worked for every carrier but Verizon, you guys.
Tons of info.
All of them.
Like text messages that can't be objected. I don't think they can. What does that mean, Violetta? You'll have to let us know what you mean. Maybe you're responding to somebody else.
But yeah,
maybe.
I'm confident enough in my cell phone experience that you could put me up against any expert. I'm telling you.
So they sent me that box, and now it's like I have 36 phones on my phone. It's insane.
Yeah. I've
never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Now I'm not talking to Verizon more. I'm waiting for Elon's Neuralink implant.
Right.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Verizon's going to give you the slower download speeds, but they're more reliable. Just because they have such a deep 3G, 4G network, but their 5G network is like super trash.
Good night, Sarge.
Yeah, good night, Sarge. We appreciate you.
Regina, you said you're a psychic?
Look at these towers.
A legit
here.
Psychic, or like joking, like I read your mind? Pamela, I wish I was better with tech too.
Yeah, these are the towers here, you guys.
We're
Look
out.
at Verizon.
We're outside the Chicago area. I don't want to get too specific on location. You never know.
Yeah, we're in Chicago.
You create your comma. You create your own karma said sounds like VoIP, voice over internet protocol.
VoIP.
What is that?
It's what I was saying. So it's a network connection that is the same thing as what a cable box would be, and then that cable box works as a mini cell tower and satellite that connects directly through your phone. So instead of running your cell phone service through a nearby tower, it's running your cell phone service into that box. That box is then sending it to the nearest GPS satellite site and then popping it up into the satellites above us, in the 30 satellites above us, and then back wherever it needs to go.
Yeah. Tomorrow's stream will be interesting on the satellite data.
Yeah.
We got a ton of questions
think it's
about it.
super interesting stuff, you guys. I love it. I liked working in that area. Things changed in life, and I didn't want to be. I was tired of managing people, so I was over a lot of people, and it took a lot of time, to be honest. So I went back into a straight up sales position. Oh, absolutely. This is why we wanted to do this, because I can't tell you how much I've learned from you guys. I've learned so much from our community and viewers. I mean, it is incredible, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's why from the beginning of the podcast, we wanted to make sure, like, we didn't want to come at it like we're experts, you know? Like, I feel like that's not the way to approach it. We wanted to learn with everybody.
Kinda.
Now, he's an expert in this one topic.
Yeah.
But other things we are very much not experts in, but we want to learn with the viewers. We want to investigate. We want to increase our knowledge.
Yeah. Yep. No. So, okay, I'll answer this first. So yes, kind of. So GPS tracking and data, it has to do with satellites, but it also has to do with things like geolocation, which is a blended trilateration, cell tower, GPS, Wi-Fi. It's a blended search, and that creates coordinates for your phone. And it might not be called that, but that's what it's like. That's what it's like, so that you're not using the cell towers, because you either use cell towers or satellite. You can't use both.
No, yeah. No worries. No worries, Pamela.
No, not at all. Not at all. We rep Chicago, but we're just outside there. Chicago's huge, and we're just in the suburbs, baby. What is it? That's one of those fake backgrounds, isn't it? That's not what No, both of our backgrounds are legit. Look.
Ian said Gina should post a glossary in Discord of all the ways to get past online swear word filters.
Yeah, I think we're obsessed with like materials, because back here we have animal fur, or like fur. It's not animal, but, and then we have our grass background.
I'm not obsessed with this background. I would like to make some changes to it. This is all him back here.
I like it. Okay. I just can't get over the fact that are you guys going to lose your mind like I am if all the conversations around the survivors, Koberger, and people close to the investigation aren't recorded? I just have a feeling.
I know.
I just have a feeling they're not recorded. I Can't tell you why.
I have a feeling too. If I had to pick the most effed up from the tech standpoint, undoubtedly the most BA piece of coding I've seen so far, and especially specifically one that we know has been used, is Project Pegasus.
Yeah.
What's that? I don't know
Um,
what that is. And Elliot, I saw you getting ready to tag us. What's up?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Project Pegasus is essentially a spy-ish tool that uses all data connections around you. Everything. Literally everything. So like with the right authorizations, it can use your phone to connect to my phone, to connect to this thing, to connect to that thing. Yeah. Yeah. But man, I'm going to lose my mind if they aren't recording those. It has to be recorded. There would be no reasonable explanation why a conversation or an interrogation around one of the biggest cases of all times. I would lose it. I would lose my mind.
Same. And yeah, you're not kidding, Karma. You're not kidding. So, shall we get back? We went off on one heck of a tangent.
It's all related, though.
It
It's
is,
all related.
But should we talk more about interrogation?
Yeah.
Or are we
can talk more about the interrogation. That's why I was kind of pulling it back to the interrogation. And make sure you guys hop on here and hit that like button. It helps us get out there.
The notify button.
Oh yeah, notify and like, and it will help us get out there, get further, and we'd appreciate it. We're hoping to get to a point where we can do this full time, you guys, and really up the ante of breaking news coverage when it comes out, and but not have it like media.
Elliot, that's a super funny comment.
Yeah,
Naperville, the fancy part. We don't live in Naperville.
She wouldn't tell you if we did.
Well, no, but we for real don't.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about the interrogations or conversations with BK and the survivors. Like, if none of that is recorded and they pulled them into a room and talked to them, Bethany, Dylan, Bryan, and none of it's recorded, that's a problem. Because that's not standard. We don't really, Miss Tandy, we don't really have a standing or a position on the case as a whole or specific people. We see a lot of shadiness. We see a lot of holes. We see a lot of evidence that doesn't have, it's not solid.
Yeah.
It's all got holes like Swiss cheese, man. It's not the slam dunk case that they're putting it out to be. We don't have a standing on innocence versus guilt. We just
Bye, Violetta.
want to follow the evidence where it goes and see the trial and see how it plays out. But we're going to dig into that evidence and call it out when we see, the mistakes.
Thanks, Gia.
Yeah, thank you so much. And good night, Violetta.
Yes. Yeah, we're just hoping to be evidence led. And for me personally, it's important that one day we could look at the evidence and say, I don't feel confident that Bryan Kohberger is our guy with the evidence that we currently have, and put us in a position to where the next day, if something were to come out, be able to change our stance and say, well, with this new evidence, this is good evidence for the prosecution against Kohberger. I think it's possible he's guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing I forgot to do, I did want to make a statement, because on our last two lives, we touched on the Blum stuff, and we saw that they responded to that according to the Gonsalves lawyer, they responded and said that none of that stuff, or he hadn't talked to Blum. I guess they didn't say that none of it was true. I think he said that they never talked, which gives the assumption that it's not true. That helps confirm things for me, but it leaves me with questions still.
Wait, weren't we gonna pull that
Where
up?
did that come from?
Aren't we gonna pull that up in the response?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so
Where is it?
answer this real quick. If you had to make up a percentage, how close would y'all say you are to being able to go full time from Ian?
Like
That's a hard question.
30-ish, I guess. Not really. Yeah, it just depends.
And yeah, I miss J Ray and Amanda.
So
I love all of you guys, but
you-
they're always here.
Oh, I need
and it is different not having them here.
Can you pull up that article?
What article?
The article you were talking about us sharing.
Huh?
You just said, aren't we going to share that?
Yeah, not an article, just the statement from the family and then the statement back from Blum.
Yeah, but we need that.
Okay.
It's an article.
I can send it to you, but no, I don't have an article. I just have pictures.
Okay.
I screenshotted his response,
yeah.
and then we have a screenshot of the family.
Yeah, the Elantra gets me too, just because there are multiple other Elantras in the area confirmed during that time that also didn't have front license plate, were also white, but were tinted windows. There are two others. One of them is a concrete confirmation that it was in the area. The other one is not concrete, just because we don't know what happened to that other side of the story. Yeah, Bon, I think it's possible, but I also think it's possible. So I think a lot of people look at Blum right now. Excuse me. Gosh,
Do screenshots work okay?
I think I
Okay.
should be able to pull it up, but
You can also go to his Twitter.
I think that my opinion on people in any situation, and I try really hard to keep it like this, you guys, is especially with all the people I encounter in sales and business and things like that, is almost everybody, like 99% of people, make decisions believing that they're doing the right thing. And that includes things that they're doing that are manipulative, fraudulent, or lying. Most people believe they're doing those things for the right reasons, even when outsiders can clearly look at the subject and topic and be like, "Ooh, that is shady. We don't trust that. That is fraud. That is lying. That is not a good thing." So I think Blum believes what he's saying and believes what he's doing is the right thing. That doesn't make it the truth, though. And I think it's very possible that Steve could have said those things. However, that is a felony. So I also think that there's a good chance he didn't say it. It's so hard, man. I've thought about reaching out to Blum to see if he would come on here.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us should trust anybody, Regina. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that there's this saying in corporate America that is trust but confirm, okay? And that doesn't mean trust people. That just means agree. Like if someone says, hey, boss, I finished this thing, my response would be, okay, great. I appreciate that. Thank you for finishing that. And then I would go confirm that it's finished, right? And I think that's the best way to approach any situation, including these, where when an article comes out, okay, great. That's awesome. I love that information is out there. but then let's confirm after. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think a lot of people got so offended that content creators, including us, come out and speak about the newest, hottest things. But there's a way to talk and or critically think about any information that's coming out while being upfront and honest that, hey, I just don't know anything about this writer. I don't know anything about this content. I don't know anything about any of this information that is being passed as truth. And we should still be able to talk about it, in my opinion. I don't think we should ever put a mouth guard on talking about anything. I feel like that is like thin ice.
Yeah, and I think that it could be a combination of truths and not truths, okay?
His believed truth.
Yeah. It could be a combination of things, because Howard Blum has been boots on the ground covering this case since the beginning. So
absolutely.
I think there could be some truths in there mixed with some falsehoods.
I respect him.
I don't know how I feel about him writing on this case in this fashion while it's still open in this way when we don't even know what happened. I don't know how I personally feel about it. I don't know if it's ethical or not.
Well, what I mean is I respect his commitment in what he's doing. When I say I respect that commitment, it doesn't mean that I'm co-signing what he's saying.
Okay.
Because I'm not. I respect his commitment to trying to find the truth, understanding that his information that he is putting out there might not be the truth.
Right. He's writing a story.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, that could just be me being overly optimistic and positive. I try really hard to look at the positives and goods in everybody and anybody. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I feel like the negative aspects of somebody is their personal thing to deal with, and the positive aspects of somebody are what people around them should highlight, you know?
Yep. Agreed. Okay, I sent the email with the family statement, which, by the way, for some reason, this statement is slightly different than the one put out on a lot of media. So I don't know if this is the original one or what. It was sent to us by J. Ray through Discord, and I thought it was really interesting because it's longer than the other ones. So I don't know if she got like the earliest original form of it or what. So
Is that everything?
Nope. Then there's his response.
Okay.
So let's read the family's response first and then his.
Oh man. Hold on. It's forcing me to download it. Do you see it?
It'll say screenshot. It's right there.
Okay, so this first?
Yep.
Okay, hang on. Let me.
Yeah, just bring it over there.
Okay. Okay, so following up on the Blum stuff. Okay, I know we're a couple days late. I apologize for that. We follow a schedule, and hopefully one day we'll get to a point where we can pop on here and be like, "Hey guys, breaking news," you know, but we just aren't there yet. So, all right. Do you want to read? Me read.
Go ahead. You can do it. You can see it better than I can.
Number 1.
Or not.
What?
Pulling out the glasses.
Yeah, these are fake. Okay. They're just for looks, so I can look smarter.
Okay.
1. Statement by Gonzalez family. As it is common in these situations, people try to make money off of the dead. It's a free world and people can write and say pretty much anything they want these days. Most of the time, my family and I just ignore the chatter and the noise, but lines have to be drawn somewhere. I was recently sent an article on Airmail by Howard Blum describing Kaylee apparently quoting me and completely making up a fictional story about FBI letters, etc. Mr. Blum recently has used the murders to get back into the spotlight, appearing on an NBC show as well as a book he is writing. He has reached out through our attorney several times to speak to us, but we have declined. I just want to make it very clear to the public that we have not spoken to Mr. Blum about the death of our daughter. He were Mr. Gonzalez and has gone through the tragedy of having a murdered daughter and what he has experienced and still experiencing and is still experiencing. This is nothing more than grandstanding and a very poor attempt at getting attention. This piece is obviously fictional, but written in poor taste. The Gonzalez family would ask that everyone please respect the victims of this tragedy and continue to support trustworthy journalism. Bam.
Yeah, what was the typo there, though? Hold on.
Yes, that's what I'm going for. All right. Look, it's only one lens. Can you guys see? Is one eye bigger? I can't tell because my glasses. Hey, welcome. Hello.
Hello, Amanda.
Miss Rivera. All right. So we talked about this article, right? What are you looking up?
I just wanted to know what that separation was, if there was a missing piece, because it didn't flow.
Yeah. So that was the response to what we read and covered the other two live true crime talk shows that we did. Now that came out following that, right? Those three pieces that we just read, actually, they're still on the screen for you guys. And then Howard Blum responds with this. A brief response to the statement by the Gonzalez family attorney. 1, I have no wish to get into a public argument with Mr. Gonzalez. He and his family have already suffered too much pain. 2, we both agree that I never interviewed him, as the article clearly states. 3, my portrait of a grieving father was based on a trove of texts he wrote that were made available to airmail, his public statements, and interviews with people close to him.
Okay, so the only part that was missing is it says, in this article, he writes as if he were Mr. Gonzalez. So right here, where we have this missing part where it just starts with he.
Yeah.
Right before that, it's supposed to say, in this article, he writes as if he were Mr. Gonzalez and has gone through the tragedy of having a murdered daughter. That's what it's supposed to say. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's the only piece that was missing from that. It must have got cut off in the screenshots, but I found the full thing.
So theories. Do we think any of Blum's article is real? There was some new evidence in there, right? We heard about Dickie's bodysuit. We heard about receipt for a knife purchased. Is this somebody reaching out like one of the people that have come out with these grand stories? I don't want to name drop, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The two women that claim to be women that came out with stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did Howard Blum get approached by someone like that?
Yeah, and from what I've seen, he has done many interviews with many people surrounding the case, just not the Gonzalez family, because they said no every time, according to him and the Gonzalez family. I also don't think he would need to bolster his career based off of this. He's already had a really good career this far. So I don't know if I agree with the Gonzalez family that this is him trying to get attention.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with that. I don't know what his motivations are or where they lie. But I don't think it's for attention personally.
Yeah,
I would like to know what you guys think about it though.
I think I always go back to, I think everybody is coming from good faith. That's where I try and pay attention to everyone. I think he's coming from a place of good faith, and maybe he missed the mark. Maybe somebody reached out to him. You know, I just have a hard time putting somebody down regardless of who it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not responding directly to the claims. I agree. I think there could be truth to these things. But I think that he could have also gotten a hold of some false information too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, supposedly he talked to somebody close to them, which did he vet that source? Does he know that's somebody that's actually close to him? You know what's really odd is I just had somebody text me earlier saying, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Who is this?" And then they sent me a picture of themselves and was like, "Hey, remember me? I'm this person." And I was like, and it's like her in an office, like sitting at a desk, like, and I'm like,
Does she think you're a guy? Like,
it didn't know. That's not what she said. She said a girl name. Like, are you this person? And it was a girl's name. And I was like, no, sorry, wrong number. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. My assistant must have put the wrong number. And I'm like, how'd you get my number? Like, I'm literally across the country because their number is from San Francisco. But like anybody could text anybody and say, I'm so-and-so. You have to be able to vet that source. They could even send you pictures to try to prove it's them.
I think that's a great point. I really do. I think that's a great point. And what's interesting too is how recent did the other author come out and say that he released his book on this?
No way. You guys get those same texts. Should I not have responded?
Probably not.
Can they do something to my phone now? Do I need to do something to make sure?
Yeah. I
have faith in people too much sometimes. But I saw Regina say, so J-Ray did send me the search warrants, like in the list of things they found. I think that's where they're saying there's a receipt, but does it say specifically in the warrant that it's for Dickies?
I don't
remember it saying that. I'm gonna have to look again.
So Blum said it was for Dickies. Blum
Regina,
did.
Steve G from his own mouth said he checked Jack's arms. Was that in an interview, Regina?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Gosh, it is like really pouring outside.
It is? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, it's like popping off outside right now. Good thing it's not tornado season anymore. Tornado season was rough.
Yeah. What do those 20-something people
there's an active tornado right now.
What do those 20-something pictures do?
It's in Florida. There's a tornado in Florida. If you're in Florida, watch out. It's by Tampa, kind of.
What do they want?
What?
What does the 20-something picture of women in offices want?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't say how many items are on that receipt, right? Yeah, I know that's been out for a while.
Wouldn't that be funny if it was a receipt that has like a purchase and a return on it?
Right, Gina? I would be super surprised if he kept that receipt too. And like I feel like most people within his age range would not keep that receipt unless they had a reason for returning it, it was a gift and they were going to give it to somebody and give them the receipt in case they didn't like it, which I did see Harsh Reality saying that, like, his dad is like some kind of like blue collar worker.
Yep.
Electrician, I don't know, I can't remember, but that like maybe he gave it to him as a Christmas gift or was going to or something like that. But they do say that they haven't been able to locate, obviously, the knife, but also the Dickies, that the police haven't been able to find that.
My only thing is, I don't know.
You read both of these?
Yeah. Yep.
What do you guys think about his response?
I don't think there could have been a better response. That's
Really?
it. Yeah.
So I wonder who provided those texts. Like, what friend is going to get a bunch of texts from a grieving father and then be like, here, airmail? That's so messed up. They probably sold them, right? They probably got money for them.
Who knows? Like I said, I think that the source is important in this situation. I really do.
Guarantee you it was for, that's another thing, keeping receipts for taxes.
Yeah.
Maybe. But would the police station ever require Dickies coveralls? Like long sleeve coveralls?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh. That's really
Yeah,
loud
I
thunder.
don't know.
Hopefully the internet does good. It should, but you never know. We're good though. There's only tornadoes in Florida.
BK kept this receipt as a trophy. Yeah. I just hope, and I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. I hope that we see his guilt. I hope there's a ton more evidence. A ton. We're in Illinois, Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
the coveralls are kind of speculation. I don't know that it's been specifically, that's like a specific official thing.
Yeah, that'd be so messed up if it was just Dickies pants.
Oh my gosh. Like it just says Dickies?
Yeah.
Here, let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, they said that it was supposedly $49.99. Yeah, we are in the hood. Hood rich.
Oh no, it's too much. It's too much. I can't go through all that right now.
Yeah.
I can't remember which page it's on. I'll look later.
There's a shirt also that has an exact price. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What? Walmart in California, Dickies are $50 a pop?
Probably.
It's ridiculous.
Probably. All I used to wear is Dickies. Dickies shorts. $39. Yeah.
They don't have a tag. Well, Christina, it's not a tag, it's a receipt. They're saying that he had the receipt.
Yeah, and they can't find the actual item either.
Dude, a rain poncho would make way more sense.
It would. Plastic.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Anything other than coveralls that are made of thin cotton and polyester would make more sense.
Yep, I agree. We were joking the other day saying that should we make a video where I get a pair of Dickies coveralls and like spray it with a
Yeah, but
liquid
everyone
that's
actually-
consistent?
Yeah, same consistency as
Yeah.
BLOOD. Everyone wants us to really do that though.
I
And then
Yeah.
get in the car, like take it all
I
off,
mean-
get in the car, and then see if you have any transfer.
No,
You got to make it glow in the dark, like UV reactive.
we drive a BMW. I am not getting in the car with stuff all over me.
I really want to
Not
do that.
happening.
Yes. You guys can
Yes.
for real hear the thunder.
That's funny.
Baseball. Is baseball like... Oh, wait, basketball. You're talking about basketball. I'm not a sports person. Sorry. People are going to hate me for that.
Wait, what am I doing? Oh, the coveralls. I'm game to do it. I just don't want to get in the car. Maybe I can put something on the seats.
Yeah, you just line the car with the shower curtain.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
I just don't want stuff all over, man.
Gina said she's the same way.
It's just because of the leather in there. And it'll absorb anything.
Yeah. See, everybody was saying we should do like
In
real
Romeoville. Yeah.
BLOOD, but I don't think we should.
I think we wouldn't be able to show that.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to show it on YouTube because they have an issue with BLOOD.
They do.
Even just saying the word.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have to do something that's like dyed blue, something like that. And then put something in it that would make it react to UV light. So then we can take a black light and see everywhere that it transferred.
Or
that's your challenge. Don't get in the car.
Or get that and change the color so nobody knows it's that.
Oh, good idea, Bon. You don't even have to get in the car. You just throw it all over you and then take it all off and then see if any got on your clothes or on your body. Yeah. Yeah. Good suggestion.
We don't
even have to get in the car.
That would smell bad. Yeah. Agreed. I think it would be
BLOOD would smell terrible.
Yeah.
Someone did a video like that already? No way. For real? I know that in the Delphi case, Mob Crew, their channel did with another guy, I forget his name, but he's like an expert investigator or something. He did like the like BLOD test to make that F. And the way splatter looks and, touching all kinds of things. It was interesting. We talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Syrup is also very sticky.
It is. It is. But all right, everybody. I think that is the True Crime Talk Show for tonight.
You guys are right, though. The syrup is a good consistency.
Yeah. We usually go a little bit later, but with the storm and everything, it would really suck to have it knock this out. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow for this one here. It's going to be a good one. I feel like we invested a lot of time this week into editing, and I feel like the editing is pretty good. And even this one, you guys, this one is going to be crazy. This is Sundays. And the evidence in this, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It is mind-blowing. But come hang out with us tomorrow. We will be back at the same time, doing the same thing. And make sure you hit notify on here. It should be showing. I think these two show up at the very top right here. The live streams that follow it, but in each live stream, I always put the link right here in all of them. So you should be able to just click bam and then bam. Good to go. And one more time, I will attach this for you guys one more time. Give me 1 second here. And I did put in all of our socials in there. So our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, and people have said they have a hard time finding our Twitter because of it's the only one that's not at Thought Riot Podcast. It's at Thought Riot Pod. So yeah. Wait, is that it? Did I do that right? Oh yeah, I think so. Awesome.
Elliot, they don't like BLOOD. So when you're a creator, you can see when certain things aren't available for monetization, when they're getting suppressed, things like that. Like you in the back end, you can kind of see when things are downtrending and uptrending, and there's certain words, and it's kind of a guessing game because they don't tell you straight up.
I know.
They don't tell you straight up.
So frustrating.
But there's certain words that can be a problem.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
have similar followings. Okay. You're right. There are people out there who are. It doesn't always make complete sense, unfortunately.
No.
The image, I feel like the image honestly could be worse than saying it. If you're throwing BLOOD on somebody, it could potentially be.
I think it could. But I think where our plan is for the channel is to grow it into something bigger with potentially multiple people and different broadcast news type coverage. So we try and keep it as PG rated as we can while still critically thinking, you know. So any age safe. So we'll do a little investigating and digging, but
yeah. And I can see you, Gina.
Yeah.
I can see you just fine.
We got you.
You're not blocked from here.
Yes.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for the well wishes and the goodbyes.
Bon. I agree. Yes. And our Patreon. That's the only thing I didn't send is the Patreon. The Patreon is patreon.com/ThoughtRiotPodcast. And we do put like audio on the Patreon and things like that. And I'm trying to figure out how I can release content early while still keeping it scheduled for the daily and morning releases and things like that. But we're working on that currently, guys. Any support is much appreciated, and we appreciate all of you. And this is the True Crime Talk Show by Thought Riot Podcast.
Yeah. Got you, Bon. I saw your comment. And everybody have a wonderful night.
Yes. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.